What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more John Foxx, and we're returning to the Golden Section, 1983. And the next tune, is it Endlessly? Yes, Endlessly. It's an adverb. It describes the manner in which an action is performed, so it's not just the adjective endless, but of course it's a one-word title. We get no indication of what this action or verb is, and there's no context for the setting or the situation, so I do wonder. And of course, given that it is a song in time, I wondered about the length of the tune. Of course, it won't literally be endless, but yes, there is a suggestion of a time-oriented action being performed, one which is infinite or indeed endless. So yes, that's at least a starting point, but that is of course very vague, and many different scenarios could arise from it depending on the other details that are filled in. I'll try to see what I can catch on a first listen. This is John Foxx. The tune is Endlessly, and it's from his 1983 album The Golden Section.
She walks out, she's illuminous. When she turns around, she is someone else. And I can't find the rule or the exception. She moves towards me endlessly.
track sort of disintegrated at the end there. So I like that one a lot. Like sonically, it has a lot of bright energy, but also a very dynamic, rapid fire bass line, the drums cycling. So it was like smooth and melodic, and yet it had a lot of frenetic intensity at the same time. Obviously, a lot of vocal extensions rolling up and down, and pushing beyond where at first I thought the vocal lines would end, which I think does fit into the endlessly type of theme. Most specifically, in terms of the title, it was something like, "She moves to watch me endlessly." Do I have that right? Which, I mean, that's an interesting phrase, and it suggests that, someone is going out of their way and maybe even engaging in actions that are uncommon, unusual, or intensely focused on the narrator. And then it was like the scene is changing, the sun is coming up or something like that, a reference to, like, was it summer trees? So those things, if I'm hearing them right, relate to time and seasons and a long duration, and of course, like, days and seasons here on Earth because of orbit and spin or rotation. They cycle again and again and again and again. Now, on a cosmically long timeline, it's not endlessly, but for us mortal beings who live, if we're lucky, a few score of years, it is, for all intents and purposes, endless. So I feel like maybe there's something to that, these cycles and these seasons and these time frames go around endlessly in the way we experience them. And if you were, fixated on someone, it might feel like they're watching you endlessly because, normally, at the end of a night, at the end of a year, people do their own things and disengage. Even if they're involved with someone, there's points in their daily cycles where they are, not intensely observing the other. So maybe there's something to that. But by and large, I caught tidbits, so I don't quite know what's at play here. But again, I think the line that uses the title was, "She moves to watch me endlessly." So if I'm hearing that right, it is very intriguing. But I love the vocal extensions. I love the kind of the 80s vibe. Maybe this is because I did a New Order reaction in this same batch, but there was a moment there where I was thinking, like, that combination of kind of like a little bit electronic, but a little bit also of like natural instrument sounds. It reminded me, maybe if you change the voice, like a tune that I wouldn't be surprised to hear New Order doing. Nevertheless, a very compelling tune. And it's interesting. I remember, who was it? I'm forgetting who in the moment it was. I apologize for that. But someone said, like, maybe this album, it's not his high watermark. And I totally get that. Certainly, Metamatic, In the Garden, it seemed like more people were talking about those albums than have been commenting on my journey through this album. And yet I still find it compelling, and I still find it, like, innovative. Like, he's, making synth pop or electronic music in a way that's kind of his own lane, even if in other ways there's certain characteristics where you could say they're representative of the genre more generally. So, in any case, another compelling one from Mr. Foxx. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.